Hey guys, welcome to another video for pre-calculus. In this video we're going to be dealing with binomial theorem in 10.5. We're going to be looking for the coefficient of an indicated term. I'm going to be working out problems 11 and 12, so let's go ahead and get started. So in problem number 11, I've got the binomial x minus 2 to the 10th power, and I'm going to be looking for the fifth term, for the coefficient for that fifth term. So I can either do x minus 2 over and over again 10 times, simplify my problem, and find the fifth term, the coefficient for that fifth term. That'll take me a really long time. So what I'm going to do today, or in this video, is I'm going to show you how to figure that out based off of the information that we've been given, or you've been given, or that we've talked about in previous videos or in class. So it's important to keep in mind your general formulas for all of this, and I'll show you how they work out as we go along through this. So it's important to look at your problem, and you want to be able to identify each of the different components that's being given to you. Right? So if you recall the general formula for when we're looking at binomial theorem, you have a plus b raised to an n power, right? And if you recall, your general formula for binomial theorem is n choose r will equal n factorial times n minus r factorial times r factorial. So in this problem, we have n, we have r, we have a, and we have b. And we actually have all of these components in the problem here. I'm going to square it in red. All the components that I need to work this out are present, except one, except my r. So here I have my a term, I have my b term, and here I have my nth term, right? So what about my r? How can I find my r? Well, the formula to find your r is k minus 1. And k represents the actual term that you're looking for. So in our case, that's, I'm going to highlight it in yellow, that's our fifth term. So what I have here is 5 minus 1 equals 4. So that's what my r is. r equals 4. Okay, so now I have everything I need to find my fifth term. So how do I plug this in? So I have 10 choose 4, right? And my nth power is, or my nth term is 10, so 10 factorial over n minus r, which is 10 minus 4, which is 6 factorial times 4 factorial times my r, right? So all of this right here coincides with what I have right here. So take a minute to kind of let that soak in. So now I want to simplify. So I'm looking for my coefficient, right? I'm looking for the coefficient, so 10 factorial is 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 6. I'm going to stop right there because the rest of it is 6 factorial, and the reason why I'm stopping there is because as I look at my denominator, I notice that there's a 6 factorial, so I can go ahead and cancel that out. So then I end up with 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 divided by 4 factorial, which is 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And as I simplify this, I end up with 10 choose r. I end up with a 210, and that is my coefficient for this particular problem. So recall that my general form for this is my coefficient is n choose r, right? And then I have my a term, and the exponent will be n minus r times my b term, and then whatever the r is for that case. So you'll need to go reference back the previous lectures where we discussed this problem or these problems, and so you can kind of get more practice and reacquainted with that idea. So, all right. So what I have here then, I have n choose r. So that is n choose r. Let me highlight that. This, remember, is what I just did here, right? So I can replace n choose r. I can replace n choose r with 210 as my coefficient. And then my a term, if you recall back to what I have up here in orange, my a term is x. So I have times a, and then n minus r is 6 raised to the 6th power times b to the 4th power, because that's what my r is, right? Hopefully that sounds familiar. Just to kind of reference back to previous work we've done, remember these exponents need to sum. The sum need to be equal to whatever my nth term is, which is 10. So this works out for us. Well, actually, let me back up a little bit. So I know what my a term is, right? My a term, let me erase that. My a term is x, so I'm going to put x there in place of a. And then as I look at my b term, I want to recall that my b term is negative 2. So then I want to replace my b with negative 2. So that's negative 2 raised to the 4th power. Okay? So now that as I continue, I actually want to simplify this. So I'll do negative 2 raised to the 4th power, and then I will multiply that by 210, and I end up getting 3,360 times x to the 6th power. So in this problem, again, remember that I'm looking for the coefficient for my 5th term. So the coefficient for that 5th term is going to be 3,060. Okay? So instead of doing the work, all the work using Pascal's triangle and taking up to 30 minutes or so working this out, I can just simply use my binomial theorem equation, and all I have to do is find my r, plug my numbers in, find my coefficient, simplify the coefficient, and I will find my coefficient. Okay, so let me work out another one. Let me work out number 12. Number 12 is saying 4m plus 1 to the 8th power, and I'm looking for that 3rd term. So recall that I want to identify all the different terms I have. Here's my a, okay, here's my b, 1, here's my n term, and my r, recall that my r, to find my r, I do k, which is 3 minus 1. So that's 2. My r is 2. Okay, I'm going to rewrite my general formula here. N choose r equals n factorial over n minus r factorial times r factorial, right? So let me go ahead and just plug in my numbers so I can start working this out. So my n term is 8. 8 factorial divided by n minus r, which is 2, so that's 8 minus 2, that's 6 factorial times 2 factorial, right? So 8 times 7 times 6 factorial, and again I stopped there because I notice in my denominator I have a 6 factorial, so I can simplify that out, cancel that out right away, save some time. So I end up with 8 times 7 divided by 2 factorial, right? Okay, so that's going to give me 28 once I simplify everything. So that is what my n choose r is, right? So I'm going to write my general form, so that's n choose r with my a n minus r times my b r, right? So I know what this is. I know what my coefficient is right now because I just figured that out. That's 28. So let me go ahead and do that. That's 28 times my a term. What's my a term? My a term is 4m. And then what's my n minus r? Okay, my n minus r, where did I do that work? Did I do that work here? My n minus r, well it's basically right here, right? N minus r, that's 6. So that's raised to the 6th power, right? And then my second term, my b, which will go here, my b is 1. So that's 1. And then my r is 2, raised to the 2nd power. And I just want to remind you that my 6 and my 2, they need to equal whatever my nth term is, which is 8, and that does equal 8, so I'm on the right track. Alright, so now what's left is that for me to simplify this, and as this simplifies, it's 28 times 4 to the 6th times m to the 6th, and 1 squared, which is just 1, right? So once I simplify this out, I'm going to end up with 114,688 m to the 6th. And so then my coefficient for this particular problem is 114,688. So this is the coefficient for the 3rd term for that binomial. Okay, so I hope this helped in working out the rest of these problems. Thanks for watching, and good luck in your studying.